You ready?
I'll just do it. Let's go.
It's been a while. I'm gonna learn this.
You got it now?
Oh no. See, I'm going to learn this.
I'm going to.
Show you what. Janice always tell me don't sing. So let's go.
We'll lip sync.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Breaking news. That's what we're doing.
Oh, it all ties in,
different
man.
kind of breaking news. That's okay. It don't matter.
It all ties in some kind of way, man.
Man, that's awesome. I know y'all probably looking at this like, who are these guys? Like, I ain't never seen them. I ain't seen them in a month. But Russell Maven, Temple, Texas, getting old. Had to get some glasses. Jay Thompson, Killeen, Texas. This is Fantasy Game Time. We done forgot what the whole name of the show is. It is Game Time.
So
We're ready to
go.
Let's go. And we finally, I finally wrangled him. He's an empty nester, and I had to wrangle his schedule. I got 15 kids, and I'm like, let's go, man. Come on, let's get together. Let's do this. Let's do this show. So we finally said, I said, man, look, free agency. We got the frenzy going on. We need to talk about the relevance fantasy-wise. Now, I know there's a lot of people being signed. Defensive linemen, offensive guards, linebackers. We don't really care. This is a fantasy show. This is fantasy game time. This ain't NFL game time. So we're going to be focusing, as always, on the fantasy impact of whoever comes up. So what's up, man? How you doing?
Just let me know if Miami drop anybody else or release anybody else.
Jay's on suicide watch, man. I told him before the thing, man. I think Miami had a board meeting. They just called everybody together and said, look, man, who do we have that could potentially help us win a football game? Okay, let's get rid of them.
Yeah,
I think y'all are picking number one next year, come hell or high water.
May leave now.
Yeah.
But I still don't get into the NFL tanking. I just don't believe it, man. It seems like it's getting more and more talk that people do it, but NBA do it, but NFL, man, it's just, that's why you play the game, man. You play to win.
It hurts too much to play the game. Yeah, to be
and you don't know especially as a player, like you don't know what your next year is going to hold, you know what I'm saying? You got big names.
You might not be able to walk. You might be Ryan Shazier. May have a serious injury that may prevent you from ever playing again. So we'll see what's up. Well,
big fish.
Yeah, man. I went through this and I kind of organized the players that we're going to talk about today, and it's basically by, I guess, money. But
it always counts.
But not really. It's really about kind of the ones that are really going to have the biggest ripple effect. On other people.
You mean the ones that 2 years from now they're going to be asked to restructure? And
they can restructure, but I want to keep away from the ones that are going to be gone in 2 years. That's what I'm looking for.
You're going to be asked to get a pay cut. All that good stuff.
No. So we're going to start at the very, very top with Captain Kirk. He's flew the Enterprise over there to Minnesota. So Kirk Cousins, 3 years, $84 million, and I think a revolutionary contract because they guaranteed it all.
Right.
So that ain't the last time that's going to happen.
Right.
And he ain't going to be the last person to ask for it either. Also, I thought it was really cute how today, I think it was today or yesterday, the official day when it started. It was yesterday when it was officially. They're like, and now, Kirk Cousins is in Minnesota. He's talking with the
like it's over.
Yeah. Thanks for the freaking update. Yeah, we knew this 2 days ago.
Yeah, don't try no drama with us now. Yeah, it's over. We already know, man.
Reports there's a plane on the ground with Kirk Cousins in it in Minnesota. Oh well, thank you, man. That is.
I would hope so.
Let me check my Twitter feed and see if that's really true. Yeah, duh. So, as far as fantasy impact, I look at anybody on that offense, arrow pointed up because of Kirk Cousins. Because last year, once Case Keenum came in and kind of stabilized that offense, everybody started doing well. So I look at the running game. I look at Cook. I look at Diggs and Thielen and Rudolph. All those guys. I think high tide raises all boats. I think everybody's everybody's on the uptick here. What's your take here?
Well,
I mean, I know Kirk Cousins isn't Aaron Rodgers, but
sure?
He's getting paid more like it now. So,
oh no, man, I just do you think they're gonna let him throw the ball though? I mean, because it's the coaching, it's defense. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if it's going to be what everybody really thinks, that he just going to get the green light and can just go out there and throw it 50 times a game. Of course, it's going to be better, but, this is something I always think about with Kirk Cousins. Like, a lot of guys, when they first round picks, is thrown on them real quick to do good.
Pressure,
there you go. So when they're a fourth round pick, you don't really expect that much. So when they show flash of being good, you get like overexcited, like, oh man, he's a fourth round pick and he's good. And it's like, I just don't know. I mean, I think he's a really good player, but for some reason the media, I don't just love him.
Gives him a pass.
Yeah,
well, you got to understand who you're talking to, because in 2006 we had an undrafted guy we just dumped into the starting lineup, and after about 4 or 5 games, people were trying to make him into the Hall of Famer, and like what in the world? I mean, they didn't give him a pass, Tony, because it's just different in Dallas. Dak Prescott, 4th round pick. Oh, he's the savior of all saviors. He's going to Hall of Fame. Then this year, it's kind of like, we need to cut him.
Up?
Yeah. So I don't.
So where you're at, and where
yeah, kind of. Yeah,
he fan base.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you can get a pass on a 4th round pick if you spent 6 first-round picks on the guy, that you thought was going to be it, that it's not even in the league anymore. But
how do you think I think Spence put on that everybody in that trade is no longer on the Rams. It's just like,
or anybody else, man. They traded everybody.
So that's crazy. But yeah, I just don't know if they're going to really open it up for him.
I think the coaching staff is smart enough to play to their strengths. I mean, he can make all the throws, and I feel like he's gonna. Be kind of like, how the first part of Eli Manning's career, it felt like he had the same stat line every year. You know what I mean? When you get to the end of the year, it's like, dang, he had the exact same stats last year. Almost to the yard. And I think he's going to be that kind of guy. I don't think he's going to have a Kurt Warner kind of year ever. But I think he's going to be that. I think he's going to be that guy that you can depend on.
So why Minnesota? I mean, we know the money, but I'm pretty sure the other teams would give him just that much money.
I think they would have. But I think he looked at it and said, okay, I've been in the league since 2012. Where can I go win? I ain't, hadn't won a playoff game my whole career, So I think he looked at it and said, oh, well, they're set up on defense. They got a defensive-minded coaching staff. They've got some toys on offense. We got, Thielen looked really good last year. Diggs played well last year. Cook coming off an injury, but it was early in the year, so I feel like he's going to be all right. So, yeah. I think that's a good move. And I know you don't care, but that's the best possible domino to fall in the quarterbacks for the Cowboys, because that pushes – they're the only ones that were behind us in the draft. So everybody that needs a quarterback is now still in front of us. And all those guys signed like stopgap guys. So that's like 5 or 6 extra players that we don't even need getting pushed down to us. So works for me. Great idea. That's the perfect place for him to go. The only problem is he is in the NFC. So the
right, and that was another thing. Maybe he thought like, okay, well, these Skins, if I see them again, it's going to be on. So
maybe so. All right. Next guy, one of the next dominoes to fall, and maybe you have an explanation for this, because I just don't.
I do.
All right. Sammy Watkins, 3 years, $48 million with $30 million guaranteed. And here's the positive thing I can think of to say about him. This is what I can come up with to say this is a positive thing about Sammy Watkins. He's 24.
Well, you said that the other day. I thought you were just saying that. He actually is 24?
He's 24, yeah. He was like 12 years old when he came into the league. Yeah, he's 24 years old. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of that's like,
Well, I think what they did, Kansas City did, they went in and put in every tape that he played against Miami and thought he was Jerry Rice Jr. or something. I don't know, man. But I'm telling you, man, this dude destroyed us. Like, he would do nothing for like 3 weeks.
When he was with Buffalo?
Yeah. I'm telling you, then he'll play us and it's 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. And it's like, this dude is unstoppable.
And
like
30 yards a game the rest of the year.
When
do we play Miami again? Is that December? Okay, all right, I'll wait.
You told me twice a year. Let's get this rolling, man. But didn't his foot fall off like
man? It was this injury and that injury.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's only got 3 toes left. I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. When he first came out, you'll remember this. There was all those good receivers drafted in the first round of the rookie draft, and I ended up having to settle for Odell Beckham Jr. So I was like, man, this stinks, man. I'm gonna try to package him and one of these other guys and go up and get that Sammy Watkins guy, man. And I threw everything I could throw at these guys trying to get Sammy Watkins. Man, thank the Lord those guys didn't take that trade, man.
Sometimes it's the trades that don't happen.
Man, it is, dude. I'm like, I'm glad I didn't come up with that one, you know. But I just don't get if you couldn't succeed last year in the Rams offense. Crap, they were scoring 40 points a game. Right. I mean, and then
he was getting touchdowns. I think he ended up with a decent amount of touchdowns.
But he crammed them all at the end of the year. They ran the whole year and didn't even use him.
And he gave up a 2nd-round pick to get him, and then he, it's like, and then you see other receivers and other people getting traded for 4ths and 5ths, and you trade for this dude for a 2nd, and then he's not on your team the next year. So, but they did good last year, so nobody questions.
I guess not.
Yeah, because they wasn't even brought up. Like, they just gave up a 2nd-round pick to let this dude just walk out the building.
Well,
what?
RFL, redraft league. What round is Sammy Watkins going in?
What, 6 maybe? Something like that.
After everybody already gets their starting wide receivers is what was my point. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm thinking 6, 7, 8, 9... if you want me to take him, I'm going to have all my starters in place.
Well, you got to see, do Kansas City play Miami next year? you got to look at that.
Well, all right. So I obviously hated that one. And I hate that for your boy because I know you got Mahomes on a rookie deal. So, he'd like to have some toys to play with. He already got a few, but.
I mean, that adds to it.
I think so. If he'll be healthy and if he'll play and. Do what he was supposed to do 3 years ago. Anyways.
But he's 24.
He's 24, though. I mean, that's the only thing I can really say about it. All right. This next one is another one that's hard on, your dynasty team. Allen Robinson. Player that I love. I rookie drafted him, got great affection for him. But he goes to Chicago. 3 years, $42 million. They didn't have the guaranteed numbers available. But 3 years, $42 million. You got Mitchell Trubisky throwing him the ball. So what do you think?
Well, with him, I think he's going to be a volume guy, target guy, because they don't have anybody else. I know they signed a tight end, but it's like, hey, he's here, feed him the ball.
Don't you ever disrespect Taylor Gabriel again in my presence.
I mean, Gabriel has his place, but I really believe that he's going to really force feed this guy the ball. And which is good. He's going to get a lot of targets and stuff. But, man, I don't know if his agent came back to him and said, man, we got your deal. You're going to Chicago. And the first thing went through his mind is I'm going from Broadles.
Now, here we go. Breakles. What do you call him? Brickle Breakles.
Go from Broadles to Trubisky. He's like, really? Man, I better have a big guarantee in there. What I'm saying, make sure it's 3 years or something. Like, I can't. You think he was fussing at Blake?
Like, thanks. I wanted to live in Chicago. Like, come on, man. I was living in Jacksonville, Florida, and you're moving me to Chicago, man.
So I just think he's gonna be a volume guy. I really think unless they do some more in the draft or something. I just think they're gonna really dial up some plays for him to get the ball.
I love his skill set. He's a big guy, but he also can get deep. He's one of the best deep ball guys in the league a couple of years ago.
He gets touchdowns.
He gets touchdowns. I mean, he can move the chains. He can run all the routes. And I just love him as a player. But, man, to me, he couldn't have gone to a worse spot. Maybe the Jets. Or, I mean, I don't know. I got very little confidence in Mitchell Trubisky. So I don't know. I think with the young quarterbacks, if they're gonna, develop a, kind of a rapport with somebody, it's usually a tight end because the tight end can just run that little option route and get open. Yeah.
But with Allen Robert, I really thought that I wanted him. Because if you look at what Watkins got paid and what all these other receivers, and where we know his talent can be, because he just, coming off ACL, I mean, this might be a bargain.
This dude got $6 million a year less. I mean, $6 million total value less than Sammy Watkins.
Right.
Really?
Right.
Really? Same amount of years.
I just knew San Francisco was going to get him. I just knew it.
Oh, yeah.
I just knew it, but...
Man, I think that would have been a beautiful spot for him to land. Good offensive coach, good quarterback.
And the Centaurs just really wanted that to happen, but thanks a lot. So next.
Now this one really helps my dynasty team, so I was a big fan of this one. Jimmy Graham to Green Bay. 3 years, 30, didn't get the guaranteed numbers. But I feel like his value is not really up or down. I think... Seattle targets the tight end a lot, but I don't think Green Bay does. So I think
you put me on that.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens, but I like it. I like it for my dynasty team, so I'm a big fan of it.
If anything, he's gonna get touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? I know that for a fact. But this is something fantasy wise, it probably not gonna matter. But I was talking with Corey about this, and he just said he didn't want him because he still holds on to that he don't block. And look at the running game wherever he goes, just don't do very good. So, but I
run
know
the other way.
But I know you don't get him for that. But it was a big deal.
Yeah, but it's still part of the job if you're going to be an inline Y.
Right.
I mean, you're going to have to block.
And he's so big, but he's just, I guess, never was asked to do it. So hey.
Well, I mean, he was. Dunking the ball, before he even was on the football team. So I really like it. I think there's going to be some more wide receivers exiting. I think Cobb may not be on the team next year. They already got rid of Jordy Nelson. He did sign with Oakland today just a few minutes ago. So that's interesting. Yeah, we can even cover him because I didn't have him in there because it hadn't happened yet. But he's fourth all-time in touchdowns.
Yeah, he's a touchdown machine.
Unbelievable. I think he was drafted in our rookie draft in the 4th or 5th round.
I think so, man.
Something like that. Yeah, pretty crazy,
man.
Man.
Corey that got him.
He
too.
was a piece of crap. I hated that guy. Never liked him.
I think he got Blunt in the 5th or something, and
we're over here drafting defensive backs and stuff. This guy's taking Hall of Fame tight ends. I hate that guy. All right. Next one was one of the early things that happened before we even got to the free agency frenzy. But Alex Smith getting traded to Washington and getting a boatload of money.
Yeah, paid too.
Fantasy wise, I think his value is less than last year because of what we talked about in terms of when you spend 2 first-round picks on Pat Mahomes, it's going to change the way he plays. And he's going to take more chances. He's going to push the ball down the field. He's got Tyreek Hill, all that kind of stuff. I think he's going to revert back to the Alex Smith that we've always known, and be conservative.
Ding, ding. Double down,
double down on that bad boy. But yeah, I just think he's going right back to.
And as a team quarterback, that's not a bad thing, but fantasy wise, it's not a good thing. I think they could win with him doing what he do, but. As for what he did last year, I don't see it. I think a pretty big drop off, to be honest.
I even put numbers in there. I think he's going to throw for 3,520 touchdowns. Not next year, every year. That's his new numbers. That's what he's going to do.
The rest of his career.
That's the rest of his career. So how many years is he going to play? You can add the numbers up and see what his final numbers are going to be right now. So.
All right, man. I need to go home right now.
All right, I'm done. You want to take a moment of silence? You okay? Everything all right? Okay, we're going to talk about another trade one.
For peanuts.
I'm sorry. This kind of.
I think we call him juice.
I need a moment. All right. I think I can do it. All right. Fortunately, Miami got a big draft haul for this trade.
Ooh, man,
you
guys
gonna
run to the podium with these picks.
You guys, y'all going to be up there taking some good players with these picks, man. But Jarvis Landry to Cleveland.
Oh man,
do you know anything about Jarvis Landry? Is he any good?
I think he can catch the football.
He can catch it. Okay, all right. So what? 3 years in a row, Pro Bowl. Kind of what he gets about 150 targets a year.
Right.
Gets about 9 yards a catch. Yeah. 9 yards a catch. So, what are you thinking about his value? I said value's probably going to go down a little bit just because I feel like he's somehow getting a worse quarterback than what Miami was dealing with. Because it's either going to be Tyrod Taylor or it's going to be Sam Darnold or whoever quarterback they like, or whichever quarterback that they like. So,
but he's proven he can do it with me and you and get 100 catches.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that with him, man,
disrespect Matt Moore again.
Who is not signed right now? Who we say we will not sign? They say we looking at my man from Chad Henne. I'm like, wow, man, really? Yeah. So that's my team.
Didn't you already have him?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
He's supposed to be the next. I think a second round pick for this guy too when we drafted him. But anyway, Juice. Nah, man, for him, it's one of those things that where the NFL still don't have a market for the slot receiver, and every slot receiver always think they can get what the number one receiver gets. And it's just not that way all the time. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of teams don't look at it that way. And it's like you're a slot receiver. And
the third receiver is a starter.
Right.
The third receiver is a starter. He just is. And not that he's a third receiver, but he's the third guy in the lineup in terms of, the X and the Z. So he's the inside guy. So, I agree. I think he's kind of Mr. Steady Eddie. He's right there. He's gonna be there. He control the middle of the field. He's gonna move the sticks. I think his touchdowns might be down just because
last year was elevated because he really was a 3-4 touchdown 5. Then he get 8 or whatever this year.
Right. I think it's gonna go back to the 3 or 4. But that's the thing. He's going to be one of those guys you can put in the lineup and you're going to get something every single week. You're not going to have to worry about off weeks.
But you can't get him like you're number one on your fantasy team.
You can't draft him as your number one?
Right.
Yeah, unless you have a very unusual draft strategy where you take,
But you know what I'm cautioning myself from doing, man? And it's in all fans, but you love a player, and I mean, he's one of those fiery guys, but once he's gone, then you find all his flaws. We do that, so, it's like...
It's easy to do, man.
Yeah, you really are a fan.
But it's
of
easier
the name
to do
on the front.
for bad guys. Like if they're kind of they're a little bit of a jerk. You sort of defend them when they're on your team, and then when they leave, it's like, you know what, he was a jerk anyways. A piece of crap. I'm glad you're gone.
And sometimes it don't matter how good the player is, but I can name stuff about him just from...
Oh, he's not very fast.
Yeah, sometimes he don't run the right routes.
Yeah.
He a hothead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He's too emotional. But on the other end of it, you're like, he's a fiery leader.
Right,
he's the emotion. He's the heartbeat of the team. And, he's always there to make a play in the clutch. And to me, that's who he is. He's kind of a clutch guy. He's a move the chain guy. He's consistent. And that's and if Cleveland needs anything, it's clutch and consistent. Goodness gracious. All right, let's stay in Cleveland.
All right.
For the next couple of ones here. What'd you think of Carlos Hyde? 3 years, $15 million to Cleveland.
That was surprising.
I thought so too.
But it might. He's going back to Ohio. So that's good for him. Or maybe that's part what he wanted to do.
Or maybe it's not. You don't necessarily need to go back to where all your boys are and, where girls know who you are and stuff like that. That's probably not a good thing.
You rich now?
You rich now? Oh, you got $15 million.
But, like I said, okay, going back home, I thought that would be good. But the thing I didn't really like about it is I thought him and Crowell are pretty much the same guy. To me, I don't see that big of a. So why not just keep what you already have and maybe you.
I think Crowell last year kind of blew his chance. I mean, they went into that thinking he was going to be their number one guy, and he just kind of here you go, man. I don't really want this, man. Y'all can have it. I don't really need it. So they let him go to the Jets, and so I think Carlos Hyde's a lot faster than Crowell.
They're just the same guy pretty much to me. I mean, like Hyde has been blowing he have his moments.
Yeah. He has moments where you think, now there's Carlos Hyde, but then he goes back and does the inconsistent, has a bad game and this and that, and you're kind of like, well, man, I don't know. Maybe that's him. I don't know.
Right. And then so for him to leave San Fran as up and coming, they really must be didn't offer him.
Okay, question.
All right.
Cleveland takes Darnold or whoever, number 1. They get to number 4. Do they take Saquon Barkley if he's there?
Oh, I think so.
I don't. Here's what I think.
So you asked me that because you already knew what I was going to say.
No, because I was. I might look smarter, but I'm still the same moron that you've always known and loved.
Okay, what you got?
I really think they're trading out right there. I think
man, they about traded out. Make a pick, man. Crap.
And I think they'll probably burn the city down if they don't take Saquon Barkley and he's there. But I think Buffalo got that 12th pick with that 22. And I think they've got the draft capital to move up into the top 5. And if you can move back, now you've got to replace Joe Thomas. You can do that at 12 or 22. You've got other running backs that are falling down the board. Ryan Emmett is having an absolute fit right now that I'm saying this, but there are more running backs down the line that you can get because you've already got Duke Thomas, you've already got Carlos Hyde, so and you've already. I know Duke Thomas isn't going to be under contract forever, but now we got now you're going to have another rookies. Maybe Ronald Jones or
You're being too cute with it, man. They can't. It's time out for being cute.
They've got serviceable guys right there right now that can do the job.
I'm going Abraham. This is for Abraham Wade. Make your pick.
Make your pick, man.
Yeah, this your team. Just make the pick, man.
Be like the Macklin pick. Like Jimmy Saquon Barkley. Yes!
I mean, that guy just did too much to just play around with that, man. He's just. I mean, he got the film, he got the combine, and who knows, he might run a 4 flat at his pro day. You know what I'm saying? He probably can fly.
They're renaming the combine after this guy.
So I hear you. It makes sense, but man, they've been doing that too long. Being cute, trade down, and then people.
All right, so we're going to be at the draft together, right?
Yeah,
we're going to be at the draft together. We're both going to be there live in person.
Some kind of way.
So when they trade down from 4.
Yeah.
Can I get a Dr. Pepper or something?
Right. Give you ice cold Dr. Pepper.
Ice cold Dr. Pepper right there. I'll be like, man, hook it up. All right, so let's talk. Let's stay in Cleveland and talk about their quarterback, Tyrod. Okay, so Tyrod Taylor, fantasy impact. What do you think his overall his fantasy impact? I said probably about the same.
Right, that's what I think.
I think he is who he is. I totally think. Hey, yeah, absolutely, yeah. So he kind of is what he is. I mean, yeah. I don't see it. I don't see him changing that much.
I just don't understand a 2nd round pick for him. Didn't they trade and got 3rd? Okay, 3rd. Well, I say 2nd because they are 3rd and it's the first 3rd. So it's late 2nd.
It's like a late 2nd pick.
Yeah, and it's like
they're still picking 4 times in the top 35.
But for Taylor, you give up that pick. I don't understand that, man.
Well, you got to understand.
I know the quarterback is more valuable and blah blah blah. Guaranteed money. We got Kirk Cousins getting.
Think about it. They gave up a 4th and a 7th for Jarvis Landry. And then gave up a 3rd. But look at the other people that got traded, man. I mean, it was like a 4th round pick for Michael Bennett or 6th round pick or something like that. And I'm like, there's more to that story. I mean, maybe the GM just.
I mean, only thing I keep going back to, he's a quarterback, and you just can't put them in with everybody else anymore. They're just different. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be.
Look, Miami would have given him a second-round pick for any quarterback, but let's give him a third.
When the Landry trade went down, we didn't know the picks, right?
Yeah,
we just knew we got traded, and then we hear, oh, they traded for Tyrod Taylor, gave up a third. We're like, oh.
Yes, that means we're getting 2 firsts.
Like, okay, all right. So we know it's at least a second or something. You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah. And then it was so bad, right? So it was a fourth. And then we was like, well, they got 2 fourths. Oh, it's the last of these fourths. Like, come on, man. Really? Can we get even worse with this? Almighty, but oh well. Yeah. That's Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod. Yeah, I see him. I think he's going to get 1 year, and this is kind of his audition year. I think this is the crossroads of his career, because I think he's going to get 1 year, then they're going to hand it over to Darnold or whoever is there, and then I think he might pull an Alex Smith and be like, "Look, man, it's the only chance I got to go make some money." I
don't think he got it in him, man.
I don't think so either. I've never thought of much of him as a passer. To me, he looks a lot like a poor man's Jeff Blake. You remember Jeff Blake? That dude used to throw it so high it hit the speakers in the Superdome, man. But yeah, he kind of reminds me of him a little bit. All right, let's talk about a tight end again. We hadn't hit one since Jimmy Graham. Trey Burton, Chicago, 4 years, $32 million, 22 guaranteed.
Man, all I can say, that was a great throw he did in the Super Bowl.
It's like Larry Brown's contract with the Raiders after that. Like, man, Deion Sanders on the sideline was talking about, if you get one more interception, you can run from there. Yeah, I mean,
man, I told you, man, being a quarterback pays, man. So
yeah, I mean,
you throw one pass, it's a touchdown, and you good, man. You get $22 guaranteed $1 million the next year. I know he's up and coming, and I think when Ertz got hurt a little bit last year, he stepped in, and I mean,
he totally did.
Yeah,
I think one game he got 3 touchdowns, maybe against the Rams. But
right.
Yeah, he's killing it. He was killing it. So I mean, I think he's a good tight end. But 4 years, $32 million.
See, that's the thing I be wondering, and I don't know how it works. I know how we do our trades sometimes, but sometimes I wonder when I see this, who were they bidding against? Like, what was the other offer where they say, you know what, forget it, man. 4 years, 32. We're not dealing with it no more. Oh, okay. Well, we was offering 2 years, 10 million.
And here's what I always think when I see a deal like that is these are negotiations. So this is a compromise. They were asking for more than that. They're asking for more than $8 million a year for Trey Burton. And
you might be one of them one of them agents, and they got the call, and they said that, and he was like, oh, okay, all right, where we sign? Like, I ain't got time to play. Let's do it. So, but you're right, they negotiate. And
I've negotiated myself, I've negotiated myself out of a deal at one time. I had somebody offer me something, and it was really good. But I wanted to just counter, just to say that I tried.
You had to rustle it up.
I had to rustle it up a little bit, and I rustled it right out of my own grasp, and it cost me a championship. So
you want me to complain about that for a minute? Because I done had that happen to me too.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's like
it's our show.
Oh, okay. Somebody offered me something. They offer it to me. To you. And then I counter the offer. And then they said no, and then I said, well, okay.
I'll take the original deal.
Nah, that's all right.
That's exactly what I did.
Dude, you came to me. So I'm with you, man.
That's exactly what happened to me.
Oh.
He offered it, and then I countered, and he goes, no, so all right, I'll take the original deal. And he's like, no. I'm going to trade him with somebody else and play him against you twice a year. Thank you.
You gave me 5 seconds to think about it, so no, I'm good.
Yeah, I should have just said, yes, done. And if I would have done that, I would have had Beckham and Antonio Brown.
Wow.
Would have put it on you. All right. Your favorite player in the NFL?
I know, right?
Man, this guy right here.
Oh, so they came out with the numbers?
Christmas card every year from Jay Thompson and his lovely family. Case Keenum, the new quarterback forever for the Denver Broncos, going into the Bronco Hall of Fame or whatever they call it up there in the stadium.
Wow.
2 years, $36 million with $25 guaranteed.
Wow.
Let me just ask it this way: what do you think that contract means? 2 years, $36 million, $25 million guaranteed.
It means a little 5'10" guy from Houston made it. That's about all it means to me. But
he's not 5'10", is he?
He's on the shorty end. And I thought that was the one of his hang-ups coming out because he was on the shorty end.
Yeah, so was Breeze.
But with him, man, it just makes me think, which one of these, you talked about it earlier, bridge gap quarterback going to actually finish the season as a starter? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
He's the one my money's on, too.
Yeah, because it's like
because
the money,
the money says it.
In the years, and I really think they target him to get him. I mean, like, they had who they wanted to be the stopgap, and they went and got that guy. And for what Keenum did last year, I can't hate on him. You got to give him
probably the most
props.
exciting play in playoff history. I mean,
Right.
nobody thought that was fixing to happen.
I can't believe I left the TV on to watch it. Like, it was like, well, it's just one more little play, but I guess I'll just sit here. What the?
I wish the Cowboys would do a play like that. I'd probably, spontaneously combust. I wouldn't.
I would need a new host.
What happened to Dad? Yeah. Dad is a pile of ashes. Yeah. Yeah. So
you be so deflated because you're in that position, and then once it happens, you can't control yourself.
You can't control yourself, man. I probably have to go chain my britches. So I think he is a bridge quarterback because I just feel like.
But that's been his whole career.
I know, but I think he's. They're just not going to trust him because. They're just not going to because it's Case Keenum. You know what I mean?
Right,
it's like you can't believe that he's the one.
Right. And you're going to draft Bradford. Or you're going to draft who else he got?
No, I think Mayfield.
Well, no, what I'm saying is every year he's been somewhere, then they draft.
They draft Goff.
Right. So it's like
he's playing better than Goff. Yeah.
So it's like whatever. Draft 5 of them all like here. I'm gonna do what I always do. Try to do it. So you got a little chip. It is a rich chip right now.
Woo.
So
yeah, but that $25 million tells me he's even got a chance next year to start. And I think they might draft a quarterback high. I think they probably will.
Yeah, I think they will.
But they traded Simeon back to the Vikings have the weirdest quarterback stop ever. They had like all the Rams quarterbacks from last year. Then they had Bradford, and then all those guys are gone. Now they're bringing in the guy from Denver who got their old guy who used to be with the Rams, and it's kind of like all this this whole round and round thing. And then so I don't know. I think they will draft a quarterback. Whether it's Rosen or whoever it is, But I really think he's got a shot to start next year. So then you got a first-round pick that you gave up 2 picks for, Paxton Lynch. Then you got a $36 million guy. Then you're going to have another first-round guy on the same team. So you think this lines up for them to draft my man from Wyoming then? Because he's the one. Yeah, doesn't that just fit? Right. Like he goes from Wyoming to Colorado. They're both box states. They look like squares. I mean,
and he can really sit.
Yeah, and he's got what Elway always wants. Somebody that could throw the ball and it literally go through another player. So that's his
break fingers.
He broke the webbing in his finger. I don't know if that's good. Is that what we were looking for? I don't know. So, all right. One of the more intriguing moves, I think, is the next one, and this one is Jerick McKinnon. 4 years, $30 million, 15 guaranteed, more than DeMarco Murray's going to make his whole career.
Wow.
So, Jerick McKinnon to the 49ers.
From Lee little school. I can't remember where it was.
And I was trying to look up his rushing stats whenever he was coming out as a rookie. I couldn't get him because He was a quarterback. They were just projecting him as a running back. It's like, why does this running back have 3,000 yards passing? Like, I don't get it.
I never knew that.
Yeah, he was a quarterback in college. It was the first time he ever played running back, but it was, it was a small college. But
you're just the best athlete, so go quarterback.
Hey, just play quarterback. Just quit asking questions. Go
run your 4.3.
Go run your 4.3 and go get drafted. So I say, his value's got to go up because he was a kind of a bit player. Even when Cook went down, they didn't turn the reins over to him. They turned it over to Latavius Murray. So I think his value's got to go up. Why would you pay him $15 million guaranteed if you're not going to
see? And that's the thing, man. For some reason, I just think San Francisco is kind of being a little bit too loose with their money. Like, they had a lot of money to spend, but does that mean you gotta spend it? Like, just
this isn't the movie Brewster's Millions with Richard Pryor. You have to spend this in 24
You got 30
hours.
days to just spend all this money. So it's like some of the like they was set up so they was smart with Garoppolo, and it's like I said. Then I think they
$137 million.
Well, I'm talking about when they traded for him and realized like, okay, we got a quarterback, and then that started we got money, so they threw money at him. They threw him with this money, and it's like, why didn't you get like we talked about Robinson? Like I think that would have been perfect. You would have been their guy.
That would have been so
like,
much better.
They started it, but I don't know if they're gonna finish it out doing stuff like this. Like they signed a guard. And then they signed another one, so they just gave him to us today. And it's like a center. And it's like they signed two centers.
Is that why y'all cut Pouncey? Because of that?
Yeah. They traded us a center for we just swapped in the 7th. And I think they gave us a high 7th, to do it.
Please take this guy from us. Look, we'll give you $100. Take this guy from us.
We paid him, and we messed around and signed another guy just as much to the same position, and we weren't thinking, so can anybody just take this guy? And I was like, okay, I guess we'll do it. But they keep saying that Pouncey asked to be released, and then because he wanted more money. And I'm just like, dude, your hip's about to fall off. Like, how can you be...
You're not going to pass a medical for any team.
Oh, I thought you about to say a metal detector, because he got screws in his hip and stuff.
It's like if you can come into our facility so we can check. Like, get on the ground. What? I didn't do anything.
I'm an NFL player.
I'm an NFL player, man.
I just knew Hernandez. That's all. I just knew him. Okay.
We're friends.
But I just think he has a role, but man, I don't know. You pay that role, that kind of player. I mean, he has special team stuff. I get it, man. But I kind of question some of what San Francisco doing. They just.
Are you saying John Lynch may not know what he's doing?
I mean, I'm not going to say that to his face.
Just because you're a free safety in the NFL doesn't mean you actually know what you're doing.
That's one guy I will not. He's one of the last hard hitters, you know what I'm saying? So, no.
Last people allowed to hit people in the NFL?
Yeah.
All right, this one right here also I thought was interesting. I just thought I was like, huh, okay. Because if you think back to 2014, I believe it was, end of the year, this guy got cut, and nobody picked him up. So New England just picked him up off of the waiver wire in December.
Wow.
Dion Lewis, which you know how much attrition happens, and how teams are just like looking for somebody that can do anything. By the time we get to December, and this guy's just laying around in free agency, fixing to start filling out applications for Walmart and stuff. And this guy, now he's Dion Lewis. He goes to Tennessee, which I thought was unusual. Then he said 4 years, $20 million, 11 guaranteed. And I thought he was more of a back end of his career type player.
Think so?
Yeah, I really did. I mean, he's not young, especially for a running back, especially one that's been injured as much as he has. But then they start talking about how they're going to use him, and all I've seen all over the internet is he's the guy, and Henry's still the complimentary guy.
That might be just free agent talk. You get him on the podium and you talk him up real good, but I see the total opposite. I actually like the move. I see him all the time in New England. The dude is a lot tougher for his size. Mm-hmm. He does have the injury history, but I think he's a year removed from the ACL.
Yeah.
And I just think he compliments Henry if they do it right. And
if
Henry,
they do it right, which
right.
I it sounds very confusing to me from what I've been reading. So if they do what you're saying, to me that makes good sense. You know, you got a guy that can do everything. He can run between the tackles. He catches the ball
Right.
tremendously well.
Right.
To me, he's kind of a smaller, quicker, faster Kevin Falk.
Oh, man. Ding, 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 ding.
We met. We've met. We've talked.
I wanted to put that down. That's exactly, man.
Yeah.
Exactly what I think of him as.
But he's a little more shifty, you know,
Right.
and he's a little more nifty with the ball. So Dion Lewis, 4 years, $20 million for Dion Lewis. I just can't believe that crap. And of course, New England gets all of his productive years for like $100,000.
I don't think he's that old, man. Or maybe I don't know enough of his early career.
We'll look at it.
Yeah.
All right. Isaiah Crowell, you mentioned him earlier. He's now in
The Jets.
the Jets.
Yeah.
And this stupid thing. 3 years, $12 million, $6 million guaranteed. It changed. He thought it was a date, so it changed it to a date.
Okay.
3 years, $12 million, $6 million guaranteed. What are you thinking there with Isaiah Crowell?
I mean, I'm kind of, I guess me and Spence are the same, but the only two people that are gonna like this guy. Still, I actually kind of like him. So we'll see. I mean, I know they got a couple of running backs already out there, but I mean, it's not a huge signing, I would think, but it's just one of those, especially the next one.
Yeah, I think he's a good player, but it makes me think stopgap bridge guy. They're going to draft somebody this year that's going to be their real running back by next year. You know what I mean? Evidently, they didn't like Elijah McGuire as much as they were,
Hyping him up.
Yeah, so I think he's like, all right, we'll bring this guy in. If you blow it up, great. We didn't pay that much for you, but that $6 million guarantee tells me this could be his only year there.
And they got the other the guy we draft all the time that's supposed to do something, and then he teases us. What's the other guy they got?
Other than McGuire,
Yeah,
Bilal Powell.
there you go. That jerk. No, I mean that guy. They're like, oh, this is here, man. He's he showed flashes, man. He can do this, and
No,
then,
he's the guy that they put in when somebody gets hurt. It's like, the next guy, we kind of run through these last few guys here, but
we have too much fun.
We're having too much fun. But this one, I was kind of like, he's going to play this year?
Yeah, I'm like, is he on this paper for what?
Jonathan Stewart to the Giants, 2 years, $6.9 million, 2.9 guaranteed. What are you thinking?
Ridiculous. Like, this dude won't make the team. Kind of ridiculous.
Well, they got to pay him $3 million to not make the team.
Well, sorry to hear that.
That sucks to be the owner, man. I don't know.
Because he's gonna the first day of many OTAs, his foot gonna be sprained.
I love this move. I love this move so much because I like the Cowboys. This guy's not as good as who's there, Paul Perkins,
Right.
and he's old, broken down. He's got no tread left on the tire. And to me, this move makes absolutely no sense.
Can't catch. You don't
Can't
catch the ball.
And
I
love this move. This is a fantastic move. They should make more moves like this.
But you're not gonna see him, remember, because he won't be there by the time. If y'all play like week 4, he won't even be. He'll be on IR by then, maybe.
What's the over/under on him getting hurt? How many games is he going to play? All right, we'll go with 2.5.
Yeah, hold on to your guaranteed money.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Here's another one that I love this move so much. Paul Richardson to Washington for 5 years, $40 million, $20 million guaranteed. What are you thinking?
Man, did he show that much last year? But really, Miami was thinking about, like, he was the talk. And I'm just like, this dude still is like
He
5
looks like
pounds.
my cousin. Yeah, like, what are you talking about, man?
I know he had some long touchdowns. I think that maybe that what did it for folks. But
Maybe.
I'm telling you, this 2 years is going to be Paul Richardson get released from the Redskins. Oh, they did.
They saved.
They did sign him.
They did sign him to a long-term deal.
that.
That's right. I love this deal. Why? Because they went and got him a really conservative quarterback that likes to throw it underneath, and then they went and paid $20 million guaranteed to a guy that excels at deep routes. Right. Great idea. Keep doing stuff like that. I love it because I'm a Cowboy fan, and that way Washington can just suck longer. But and also it kind of hurts us because both of us have Doxson in a dynasty league. So they got Doxson, Crowder, and Richardson now. So we'll kind of just see how that shakes out. It seems like the roles should be kind of clearly defined. Slot, number 1, number 2, So, but we'll see. We'll see how that shakes out. What about Marquise Lee staying in Jacksonville for 4 years, $34 million with $16 guaranteed? What'd you think of that?
Nah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot. How much less is it than Allen?
He got 3 years, 42. So it's almost, it's very similar numbers.
Yeah, see, that's the part that I don't.
If you're going to spend that kind of money, why not go for the guy that can do everything?
Right.
He's your ride or die guy. I just
sometimes that's one of those too cute. Like, man, if we let, then we can get this guy. We sign him with 1 more year, less money. But in the end, what is $3-4 million when it comes to talent like that? So sometimes, like I said, we got teams that just go crazy, but then we got some teams that get a little too cute, and I think that's one of those. Just because he ain't the most healthiest guy in the league either. You know what I'm saying? So he's
been hurt almost every year of his career. That's one of the reasons Allen Robinson got all those targets. Because he got hurt as a rookie. So, yeah, because I think they drafted him first. They drafted him ahead of Allen Robinson. They had 2 second-round picks, I think. To me, this one's kind of okay, who cares? Chris Ivory went to Buffalo. 2 years, $2.5 million guaranteed.
I think the only thing about this one I saw it was, Ivory was with the Jets, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe he ran hard against them a couple of games and they remembered.
I guess.
And they got it.
The only problem I saw is if you get McCoy, this dude might vulture a few of your touchdowns. That's the only thing that really crossed my mind. Dante Moncrief to Jacksonville, 1 year, $7 million. To me, it's like, welcome to free agency. It's the first week of free agency. It's like $7 million. What has he ever done? I don't understand. He just, whatever it is, he's got like a black cloud. He's like that one character on Charlie Brown that's got all the dirt all over him all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's like this dude just like, he can't catch a break, man. Like whatever he does, it doesn't work.
But I think the $7 million he owed Andrew Luck for, because I think whatever he got, Andrew Luck made the most out of him.
He had he had great numbers when he was coming out, and I thought a guy with this kind of explosion, these kind of numbers, this kind of size, I think he's really going to be a great player. He's got Andrew Luck, and so I was thinking, man, I just really got to try to get a hold of him. Right. And I never did get a hold of him. I'm like, man, I'm glad I didn't, because he sure didn't do anything.
Right, and I kept trying to get a hold of him. Kept. But yeah, I just think it's one of those. Andrew Luck really got him the ball a lot, and this is his one little payoff from that because he didn't do much last year without Luck. So, yeah.
Or any other year. All right, let's wrap up with some quarterback talk. Well, actually, I got 2 quarterbacks, and I got one last guy I want to finish up with, just because to me it's like free agency, like the epitome of free agency. All right, so we're going to talk about Sam Bradford and A.J. McCarron. So Sam Bradford, 1 year, $20 million, 15 guaranteed.
Man, the short and long. Facebook got a video of him, man.
That's Chris Pardue and Spencer Shelley.
Man, their show is hilarious. Funny, man. It is so funny. Got him like a helicopter, like got him. They toting him up. And they put him inside an avalanche. They got the Cardinals emblem on it, and then it takes off and runs into a tree. And then the back opens and he rolls out down the cliff. Man, it's like this dude just stay hurt. Man.
So they also posted something that was on Twitter. They said, and I saw it on Twitter as well. He's made $134 million in his career, and he's never won more than 7 games in a year.
Wow, I thought he made more than that, because on my notes I put Sam Bradford will buy a team when he's done. Like, that's how much money he done made from the league. It's
he's
like,
the nicest guy in the world. I mean, you never want anything bad to happen to him because he's a really nice guy and he's been through a lot of injuries and stuff. But crap, man, he has got blackmail pictures of somebody's wife. This guy has made so much money in the NFL for very, very little production.
and he was limping bad last year. Like, bad. Like, worse than me bad. Like, this dude's like...
Not worse than you.
And they just kept trying to get him in there. Like, but you're Sam Bradford, man. We need you out there. Come on, man. And just
I don't know what Philly did something. Philly did put something in his water or something. He the guy played like 16 games twice for them.
I didn't even know that.
AJ McCarron, to me, he was a day late and dollar short on the quarterback contract. So he was 2 years, $10 million, 7.9 guaranteed. He's basically saying, we'll let you play for a little while till we draft somebody better than you.
Yeah, and that might be buy low and get high. He might be a guy.
I mean, maybe he'll go out there and throw for 4,000 and 30 touchdowns, and then they're going, hey, great, we got you next year for cheap.
And then he holds out. So, yeah.
Yeah, probably. And then the last one I want to talk about is, this is so funny. I make this list of, I just went off of the, website that went on, that listed them by how much money they got or whatever. And then I started moving around in the order I wanted to talk about. But this guy left on there, Ryan Grant. Jay was like, who is that? Why is this guy on the list? Is he a linebacker? What does he do? Ryan Grant signed with Baltimore 4 years, $29 million with $14.5 guaranteed.
They need a receiver bad, huh?
They need a quarterback bad is what they need. But so Ryan Grant, by the way, in case you don't know, he was like the fifth receiver for Washington the last 2 or 3 years. And this guy signs with Baltimore 4 years, $14 million guaranteed for Ryan Grant. To me, this just is a microcosm of the idea of free agency. You're supposed to pay good players like they're great and average players like they're good. This is paying a below average player like he's excellent. This is just crazy.
But it isn't this what they did away with the rookie contracts for this? This is
we'll make your trade.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna let y'all have free agency and it's been paying off. If you can get hot that first day and really go into it, you can really, really get it. But I wanna I just wanna talk, but I know we can't be on here all day. But I wanna ask,
our show.
Yeah, it is our show. But when these guys restructure, so the difference between restructuring, moving money, and pay cut, and explain that to our fans, because I think sometimes fans is like Ryan Tannehill restructured his contract, freed up like $10 million, and they're like, man, he's a team guy and all that. He's still getting paid.
No, that is not it at all. What happens is when you sign a contract, you have base salaries. Okay, those are typically not guaranteed. Okay, so let's say you sign a 3-year deal for $10 million, and your average your salary every year is $3 million a year. So you signed a $1 million signing bonus. Okay, so they get to year 2 and they need $2 million. What they do is they convert some of your salary money into a bonus. So the bonus gets like when he signed that with that 1 year $1 million deal, that bonus gets prorated throughout the contract. So it really only counts $300,000 that first year, then 300, then 300, 333 or whatever it is, for each year. Okay, so when they restructure your contract, what that means is they convert your salary into a bonus. So now instead of it counting all this year, now they're splitting it up over the rest of your contract. Okay? So it sounds like they're doing a real team-friendly thing. Yeah, they're pocketing a big check is what they're doing. Okay? That's what they're really doing. Because we've restructured guys like every year. Tyron Smith and, Travis Frederick and, Zach Martin and whoever it is, we're restructuring their contract. What that means is we're dumping a big pile of money. We're backing up a dump truck to their front door and dumping a bunch of money in their yard, so that their cap hit will go down, so that we can have more cap room.
All right, because I'm telling you, when players do it, we just like, yes, that's what I'm. See, that's why we
need people like that around here that'll take a check.
sign me up, right?
Yeah.
So what's the difference when you do it and you know, like, okay, you backload it to where you know that person not going to be there for that part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like we did with
they backload contracts, but they backload them on the salary, not on the bonus. So if you're going to backload a contract, you make it $8 million and $9 million the last 2 years. That way, if you cut him, you just don't have to pay that $17 million.
So you know he's not going to be on the team 2 years
right.
from
And
now.
all you'll be responsible for is whatever the prorated signing bonus was. So if you gave him $10 million up front, and that was 2 years ago, you'll owe that other $5 million of that signing bonus, and that'd be your only dead money.
All right, that's your teaching for the month. I mean, those questions I had, but we try to get it all the answers, all the questions answered. Yeah.
Well, my final take here on everything free agency is I really hate these first couple of weeks of free agency because it's exactly what your GMs say to describe it. You're paying good players like they're great, average players like they're good, and below average players like they're average. And people get overpaid, and then what happens? The people that actually are good get ticked off because they want that money. Mm-hmm. And it causes holdouts and stuff like that. So I really hate free agency. I think it's a
dog. Okay, just trash this whole show there.
I hate this crap. But the thing about it is that everybody keeps worrying about the salary and worrying about the salary cap and stuff like that. But the salary cap goes up $10 million a year.
Right.
So it ends up kind of just working out anyways. But the problem that I have with it is almost every single person that signs in the first 2 weeks of free agency never lives up to that contract.
Right.
They did the work to get the contract. They're not working once they get the contract. If you remember Albert Hainsworth getting $100 million from the Redskins, he's like, I'm going to work harder than ever to show that I'm worth that. No, you're not. You failed the conditioning test like 15 minutes later after the press conference. So,
yeah, half of these guys, they just want to get paid, but the thing about the free agency that I don't like, and I see you got like the first 2 weeks is you pay for these players, but then you don't know who's going to get cut later. You pay for Albert Wilson or whatever, and then you look, oh man, Jordan Nelson get cut. Like if we would have just waited, that kind of stuff. Like, oh, we didn't know Sue was going to be available. You done put your money in this.
Yeah.
This bag over here, and then all of a sudden you don't know.
You got to have prognosticators in your organization going, I think they're going to cut this dude.
The honey badger getting released is like, man, why did we spend our money, man? We could have just waited. Hell, like New England do every year. You know what I'm saying?
I'll just wait till like the beginning of April when you're getting ready for your, you're doing all your draft stuff and you're cutting people, and I'll just take those guys.
Right, and you realize like, oh man, we got to. Exactly, man. So I know, you can have your Cowboy minute because a lot of your Cowboy fans are upset that y'all not making the splash. But I know you sitting back.
I'm glad. Dude, you never hear New England going out there and dropping, millions and millions of dollars. They did last year, I think, but that was an aberration. I think that was very unusual for them. But Cowboy minute, David Irving on a 2-year, on a second round tender. I like that because that might entice somebody to come get him. Because here's the deal. well, here's the thing. He's good, and I like him. But he's already been suspended for drugs, and he's inconsistent.
No, go ahead.
No, but he's inconsistent. And if you're not going to back up the truck and give him one of these contracts, then why would you keep him this year? You know what I mean?
Okay. Get
something for him while he's
right. And
while
he's
he's
be Landry next year, and they know you're not going to keep him.
Hey, 4th and a 7th for David Irving. Like he's a 3 technique that kills the quarterback. He averaged a sack a game almost for us this year. So he's good. I ain't mad at him. But Tank Lawrence got the franchise tag, which is kind of jacking up our salary cap right now. We're getting ready to probably restructure a few guys. I'm really surprised we haven't re-signed Zach Martin, and I'm sure he's glad after seeing Andrew Norwell get 6 years, $50 million or something like that.
$66 million.
Yeah, whatever it was. So, but he's about to. I think he's playing hardball with the Cowboys because if he wasn't, he would already be signed. Travis Frederick signed real quick. Tyron Smith signed real quick. I think he's like going. No, I think y'all are going to really actually have to pay me. And we will watch. But yeah, I think what the Cowboys need to do is the Cowboys need to sign an NFL player that can start at left guard. Somebody that's been in the league, that's shown that he can figure out how to block a defensive tackle. That way you take that off the plate for the draft. You need to find some NFL human being that can play safety in the NFL. You don't have to break the bank. Just find somebody that can play safety in the NFL. That way, as bridge guys, for both of those positions. And everybody is like all up in arms about trading up for Roquan Smith or one of these, linebackers. But those guys play weak linebacker. Who plays weak linebacker for the Cowboys? Sean Lee. You're not taking Sean Lee off the field. He's the only daggum defender we've had for 10 years. I'm like, no. So I'm not on board with taking high impact players early in the draft. Ryan Hammond is rolling over in his chair right now. But the running backs and the linebackers and stuff like that, push those back a little bit. I know, Ryan, I get it. But I would wait on those guys, and I would get the best defender you could, and hopefully a wide receiver in the first 2 days of the draft, and get on down the road. That's what I would do, and I think they might listen to some of that. So we'll see what happens.
We'll send this tape in to them.
Yeah, I'm sure they really, really care a lot. All right, cool, man. Well, that's going to wrap up the show. Thanks for watching Fantasy Game Time. For Jay Thompson, I'm Russell Maben, and we just want y'all to know, man, we love football.
But we love Jesus more. Amen. Hallelujah. Thank you for watching.